Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be working on making a 3D mask with African print fabric. And pretty much I'm using elastic for the ears. You can use whatever dimension elastic you'd like. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Have fun, guys. Okay, so these are the tools we're gonna need. We'll need a printing paper, ruler, pen, rotary blade, and also a cutting mat. For the paper, you really don't need a printing paper if you don't have one. Any type of paper would work so long as it's 8.5 by 11. So in this case, I'm just gonna use a printing paper. And as far as the measurement goes, the ruler, cutting mat, and also a tape measure would work just fine. Yeah, so in this case, we're gonna measure 3 inches from the bottom of the paper on the vertical side, and then another 3 inches above that, so we'll be left with about 2.5 inches. And then down below on the horizontal side of our paper would mark another 3 inches, and then on the opposite side would mark 2.5 inches. So pretty much you have 2.5 by 2.5, 3 by 3. So each one of these squares are worth an inch, so my 1/2 inch is right there. All right, so now we're gonna connect the dots by drawing a line across. So this is our 2.5 by 2.5. Once we're done, we would also connect our 3 inches dots. It should be 3 inches by 3 inches. And the reason we have a 3 inches and a 2.5 inches is because we're making allowance for the closure. So now that we're done with the markings, we're gonna go ahead and fold our paper in half and just make sure it's nice and even. And then once we finish folding, we want to cut along the lines that we just drew, so nice and clean. I'm going to use my roller and my rotary blade. You can pretty much use the scissors or whatever tool you have, works fine. And this is going to be the pattern that we would lay on top of our fabric once we're done. Now we have our pattern. We're gonna go ahead and mark about 1/2 inch at the bottom. Let's go ahead and put some dashes there to show that we're gonna be stitching across that line. So here we have our fabric. This is approximately 11.5 by 9 inches. And this fabric doesn't have a wrong side and a right side. It's pretty much the same. But if you had if you're working with a fabric that has a wrong side and a right side, you pretty much want to put the right side against the right side. So pretty much your wrong side to be on the outside, and that's where you're going to be working on. And then we can go ahead and put our pattern on top of it. Now that we have our pattern on top of it, we can go ahead and cut all around it, nice and neat. In this case, I'm gonna use my rotary blade. You can pretty much use any tool you have. Like you can use a chalk to draw around and then take off the pattern and cut. You can use the scissors, but I'm just using the pattern on top of the fabric, and that works for me. So it really just depends on you. So I have my cut, nice and neat. And I adjust as I go, but I mean, if you need to pin it, that way it stays in place, you can do that as well. So now that we have our fabric, we're gonna go ahead and pin the elastic within, on the right side of our fabric pretty much. We'll use these pins right here. You could also use like a fabric clip. So this is my elastic. I'm gonna cut 6 inches of the elastic, 1 for each ear. And this is about a 1/8 elastic. You can use whatever dimension elastic you have. It won't really matter, but this was really nice and clean. It works just fine for me. Alright, so now let's go ahead and pin it within on the right side of the fabric, so it's going to be between the two fabrics. Quarter inches outside the fabric, and then I secure it with the pin. You could also use a fabric clip as well. That would work fine. So once I have one end secured with the pin, I'll go ahead and secure the other end with the pin as well. Just make sure it's laid flat, nice and neat. So once I have both ends secured, then I want to repeat the same on the opposite side as well. Alright, and once we're done, we would go ahead and stitch all around the fabric, but remember you're gonna leave the side with the 3 inches open because that is your closure for when we're all done sewing. And make sure you back stitch when you get started, that way your stitches won't unravel. And when I get to the elastic portion, I like to double stitch and triple stitch. That way it's nice and secure. Alright, so now it's time to flip it inside out, and before I do that I want to cut all the extras like the elastic and the thread. So when you flip it inside out, make sure all of the fabric comes out. So you want to use your fingers to push through the corners of the stitches. That way it would push all the fabric that will be hiding within to come out. So now that we have our fabric out with the pointed edges, we would go ahead and press our fabric. So you want to make sure you give it a really good press and make sure all the edges are laid down nice and neat. Alright, so now that we're done ironing our fabric, we want to go ahead and fold in those ends about half an inch. Fold it in, make sure it's nice and even, and then we would go ahead and press it some more to make sure it lays down flat. Alright, so give it a good press once again. And once we're done, we want to go ahead and stitch across that end that we just folded in. So voila, this is what we have here. We're almost through. So now we want to go ahead and take the 2 pointed ends and fold our fabric in. So you fold it, bend it that way, and secure it with a pin. And about 3 pins should work. And we want to do the same on the opposite side as well. And what we're going to do once we're done securing this, we want to go ahead and you want to measure. It's approximately 3 inches. That is what it's going to be on both sides. So that's also, you didn't fold too much in. And now we want to stitch it along the length of that edge. So about a 1/4 inch is how much we want to stitch on both sides. So from end to end pretty much. Now that we're done, it should look like this. And then when you open it up, it should look like this as well. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and fold those edges out. So you want to fold it nice and straight. So you're not just bringing it out, but you want to make sure it's straight across. So we're going to repeat the same on the other one as well. And what would happen there is we would go ahead and sew along that pinned line. And that is what would create the 3D effect for us. Alright, so we're going to repeat the same on the other side as well. And now it should look like this. So I chose to do it on a plain paper for you to see because the fabric I'm using is pretty dark and has a lot of pattern. So yeah, that's how it should look like. I'm just turning the pin around so it's out of my way when I'm stitching. Alright, and now we can go ahead and sew along those lines. So straight across. And we will do the same on the other side as well. And I love double stitching, so it's a good thing to do. That way you don't have your stitches unraveling in no time, especially for the fact that you're going to be washing and using this item a lot. Okay, and now I'm done cutting all the extra threads, and now this is the final product. Yay, we're all done. Looks good. Looks like a little purse too.
Hey guys, this is your girl again. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you were able to learn something from it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, definitely leave them below in the comment section. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share with your family and friends because you never know who could be inspired by the content on this channel. Thank you so much again. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Have a great one and stay tuned for the next video. Bye-bye.